Imagine this. You could be given almost everything: health, stability, safety, enough to live. And yet, with a single question, you could be made unhappy. Just 1 second is enough. All it takes is this. What is the one thing you do not have? The moment this question ends, everything you have held until now, everything you have been living within, begins to fade, quietly dissolving, scattering into the air. Everything you do have steps into the background. Tonight, we sit quietly with happiness and unhappiness, and with the habits that shape them. Unhappiness is surprisingly easy to create. It does not require disaster. It does not require loss. It only requires attention. When the mind is invited to search for what is missing, it almost always succeeds. No matter how much you hold, the mind can always find one empty space. And once found, that single absence begins to feel heavier than everything else combined. The mind does something curious. It does not count what is present. It magnifies what is absent. Quiet stability becomes invisible. Enough becomes insufficient. What once felt whole is suddenly framed by what is lacking. This is not because you're ungrateful. It is because the mind was trained this way. For many of us, unhappiness is not a choice. It is a habit. In the middle of an ordinary, peaceful day, when nothing at all is happening, the heart suddenly sinks. And almost automatically, the mind begins to search for fragments of unhappiness. A habit formed through repetition. Each time we return to what is missing, the path becomes easier to walk. Eventually, the mind moves there automatically, without being asked. This is not weakness. It is conditioning. Most people do not fail at happiness because their lives are empty. They fail because they turn back toward unhappiness, even when happiness is available. Not because they want pain, but because pain feels familiar. The mind often prefers what it recognizes over what is gentle. Happiness can feel unfamiliar, even unsafe. So the mind retreats to what it knows. Happiness is not something that happens to us. It is something we practice noticing. It lives in ordinary moments, in enough sleep, in quiet mornings, in meals that sustain, in days that do not collapse. These moments do not announce themselves. They must be met with a certain posture of mind. Gratitude is often misunderstood. It is not pretending everything is good. It is the skill of staying with what is sufficient without rushing toward what is missing. Satisfaction is not settling. It is resisting the habit of undoing peace. It is choosing again and again not to reopen what does not need to be reopened. Notice this gently. When the mind begins to list what is missing, when it compares, when it revisits dissatisfaction, this is not truth speaking. It is habit speaking. And habits can be unlearned, not through force, but through awareness. Happiness is not fragile. It is simply quiet. And quiet things are easily overlooked. You do not need more to be at peace. You only need to stop returning to what takes it away. Tonight, if happiness appears briefly, let it stay. Do not question it. Do not test it. Just notice and allow. Thank you for sitting with this reflection. Another quiet space will be here when you're ready.